How? Oh, not a lot of people are here yet. That's okay. I missed the opportunity to have a brimstone stream on 420, and I'm upset about it. Um, I was just very tired from work, and I just decided to. I did celebrate 420. I definitely did smoke. I smoke every day, but I went to sleep. Anyways, who's here? Who's got questions already? You get first dibs. Hell, Satan. How you doing? It's nice to see some of y'all here. I know it was last minute. I know I didn't really, and it'll be okay. Some people will inevitably miss this stream, and we'll just do another one. You can leave comments on here too. Mm. So, fuck, I forgot to age restrict it, whatever. Who cares? I have YouTube for fun. So, yeah, good. I'm doing well. I will begin with the updates because, at least for playback purposes, there we go. So, where to begin? I am teaching a course at, I say at, but part of the Salem Witchcraft and Folklore Festival. I'll be teaching a course on puppet magic. It will be a little bit more than just the basics. We're going to get into some vampirism, different things we could do. Different kinds of puppets that can be used for different purposes. So I will be covering general basics. So hi Abby, hey, oh my gosh, been so long since I've been here. But yes, the course will cover I'll have some portion where I talk about the basics and then some examples, some shadow work examples, some unconventional ways of constructing puppets that are not the typical what you think of when you think of a puppet doll. So that'll be fun. That's happening in August. You can register now. I'll put links down below, but basically salemwitchfest.com. You have to hunt around for me. I can put the links specifically to my course if you like, or you can sign up for the whole event. The courses will be available in throughout 2023, so I understand not everyone will be there live. It's online. Oh my god, I'm stoned. I can't even fucking. All right. Anyway, that's happening. That's great. That's fun. I got a death oil here in the background I made during the eclipse. Hopefully, some of the footage from that will be useful enough for Patreon. We'll see. Those of you who saw me on Instagram, I got a new book. Very excited. I don't know what the accent is. I'm sorry. I got Anima Satanae. I'm obsessed. It's a lot more Clifothic stuff than what I expected, but I'm happy with it because I keep it wrapped in a cloth because I can't have I can't have oh my god, what's happening? Jesus. What was I fucking even saying? I'm so sorry about that. My internet has been real shit. It's fuck. How's everyone doing? This little Q&A, just catch up what we've been up to. The pop-up course sort of emerged because I've been giving readings more in person. One of my services in person has been just have a good time with that, and I wanted to teach more on expanding that aspect, just taking one concept in witchcraft and expanding it further. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm really excited about the book. that I purchased. Um, it's like I don't know if I will learn that much that's new, but it's just like a really enjoyable book to be reading. I'm just enjoying what I'm reading. And I feel like reading about the Qliphoth after initiating through it. I mean, I do wish I had this book when I was initially initiating, right? Like when I was initiating through it, but I'm happy to have it after so I can sort of read it and look back and reflect and see it with new eyes. If you do decide to initiate through that system, I mean, I mean, I've talked about it. There's some things I have not talked about. Um, the even what I chose to talk about would change events. So, you know, it's not nothing, you know, it's not just a series of rituals where, you know, you're doing mild changes. You're doing like it's big changes in and out of you. All right, I'm sorry, I haven't been the connection goes lost and I don't know if I missed any comments, questions, whatever, but this is supposed to be somewhat of a Q&A, but if nobody has questions, I guess I'll just monologue. Y'all love that. Something like that. So I've always like lived around not always, oh my god. For a few years now, I have lived around other witches, you know, in person. And I've always just sort of kept to myself, and now I'm a little bit more, you know, evolved in the community or what have you, and um, that's great, and it feels good, and I have a lot more opportunities to learn things that I normally wouldn't, you know, and so as someone who's like learned a lot and knows a lot and feels sometimes trapped in a lack of challenge. Like it's nice to be exposed to things that I know nothing about. Um, so that's fun. I'm going to be receiving some education regarding like mediumship and communication with the dead broadly, I guess. A little bit of non-demonic possession, possibly. But yeah, mostly acclimating to those energies. Really excited to learn more about that. So and I'm excited to be. I'll be viewing some courses of the festival after I teach mine. So I'm not just teaching there. I'm also going to be learning there. It's exciting. It's exciting. I have, you know, noticed. Uh, um, it's hard when you're involved in the occult world and you have a big passion for it and you're finally like because I didn't grow up around other witches at all. I grew up um like I had some other pagan friends, but I grew up in a very rural area that was very conformist in a lot of ways, not just religiously, just in general. And so being around other witches, I see that as like a privilege and I see that as a gift. And sometimes it's really disappointing how how some witches will repeat um, behaviors that they have received towards other witches, like, and it's or other practitioners, and it's often actually like you'd think it would be seasoned people doing it to new people, but really I've noticed it's a lot of new secure, like trying to diss practices they don't understand, or I don't know. It's really weird. Is there a certain way or method of communicating with the dead that you like most? Just curious. I mean, I don't even know all of the methods. I mean, like I definitely am not a fan of like spirit boards. I just think they're like kind of I can't get the image of the Ouija board like out of my head. It's just so cheesy to me. I don't like I don't know. I just can't take it seriously. Um I will be attending what is called a misa. It's very similar to a séance, but it's I mean it's culturally different because it's spiritismo practices, and so I'll be learning a bit about that practice, and I will be learning a bit about the dead through that. The way that I like talk to most spirits in general, but especially like my dead family members, is I just sort of like find a situation I that reminds me of a memory with them. Like I'll like go out in the world and be like, okay, like my grandfather and I like to look at ducks or whatever the fuck, you know, and I'll just like go out to where I find ducks or something similar or something that reminds me of a memory, and I'll just speak to him until I hear an answer. You know what I mean? Like not out loud because that'd be weird, but you know, I just like sort of remember him, and if he like comes or if I get a message from him, I just receive it. I don't really feel like he's like physically there with me. That would be a little too much for me. So that's where kind of like this event that I'll be attending is gonna be new to me. I'm a little bit like, as much as I love demons, I'm very squeamish about the dead. Like I'm very squeamish about the dead, but necromancy is going to be happening. Abby, what kind of necromancy are you getting into? Because like I have been learning some necromancy. I just don't talk about it. I just don't talk about it very much. So I'm curious what kinds of things you're getting into. Like I mean I have shared with some people that I'm beginning work with Cain. Like I'm beginning like I have been working with him. It's more devotional work that I've been doing with Cain right now, but I have been learning a lot about death energy through him, and a little bit of necromancy, but I don't. I'm trying not to go like just the way I would with other things. Like the way I go at other things, I just sort of dive in, and I'm trying to be a little more cautious at this because I just always had a bit of apprehension about the dead. I feel like the dead, much like the living, can drag you down, can derail you from your path, and so I try not to. Um, yeah, I try not to let the past do that to me. You know. I use dowsing rods. Cool. Being like, yeah. I like. I don't know if I trust myself with dowsing rods or pendulums so much anymore, because I realize like pendulums really say what I want them to say. I feel like dowsing rods and pendulums for me like just say what I want them to say. So I don't use as much. Sometimes I worry with cards too, that I'm like subconsciously pulling certain cards a lot. Um, but I don't know. It's kind of weird though. Like post Cliff Off, you have to be careful about what you have to be careful about what you think, because it can come true. What you think, you don't really um yeah, you alter your own reality a lot more directly after finishing Damiel, after initiating through Damiel, excuse me. Am I done with TikTok now? For now. I mean that's all I can really say for sure. I'm done with it for now. Like it's very distracting. Um when I'm having fun with it, it's also stressful because like if like my chaos magic series was like doing better than I thought it would, and I wasn't feeling good about that. I was just like, oh no. Like anytime something of mine does really good on TikTok, um people have to clap back at me in ways that don't even make sense. Like people have to make things up about me, or they feel like they really don't have to. They really don't have to, but they do. and it's just like a lot. Or I really don't like the I have some thoughtful people that follow me on TikTok and who I follow, um that leave thoughtful comments, but the majority, like whenever a video of mine gets big, the majority of comments I get are just like mind-numbingly, frustratingly stupid. And I just it fills me with rage, and then I end up like acting really mean, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right for me like to purposely irritate myself to such a degree like with people who don't even know how to like bully each other properly. Like it's a little bit, I don't know, it's frustrating. Yes, TikTok can be a lot of fun, but if you're on it or you allow yourself to get somewhat like addicted to it, it's which I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like I wasn't addicted to it. Like I think part of me was, um, and I had the time at the time. Like I had the time to be addicted to it. So now I'm just like I just don't have the time. Yeah, like, and I'm not trying to be like one of those people that's like, oh, TikTok is so much, TikTok's the word, like people on TikTok do that. Like that, like the people who make TikTok content complaining about TikTok are it's the most annoying thing, right? But like the way, just think of, it's video Twitter, okay? Think of like the worst conversations you've had on Twitter, um, dumb those people down, and then like they say everything in a video, and like and some of those videos are like really cheesy memes using audios from like wherever. And sometimes when you trace back where those audios come from, it's very uncomfortable, you know? Yeah, I mean the people on it, but it also the platform itself sort of like fosters a certain behavior, and the algorithm favors a certain behavior. The reason that my Chaos Magic series was popping off was I threw on a blonde wig and I was talking like a bimbo, and that fucking and I made a joke about like being too pretty to read. The reason I haven't finished it, by the way, the reason I haven't finished that fucking series is because the next principle of Chaos Magic you're gonna need to read, and I just didn't know how to tell TikTok that. I didn't know like I know what to do. I was like, do I like break character and take the wig off? Like it just seems like a lot of cinematic effort for TikTok, and I just can't do that. I don't even like I'd rather be on YouTube or be IRL just doing what I want to do, you know? So right now, that's what I'm doing. If I come back to it, I come back to it, I'm sure I have like I haven't not even looked at my notifications. Like I don't have no idea if people are messaging me. But frankly, that's the other thing about the platform is like people get stuck on there and they're not on other platforms. And I noticed that even in myself, I was like stuck on there. I was not on YouTube. And I enjoy YouTube a lot more. Not YouTube Shorts because it's basically the same thing, although some YouTube Shorts are good, just like some TikToks are good. And some Instagram Reels are good and whatever. But I like Instagram and I like YouTube. They're my faves. I don't like Facebook. TikTok can be fun, but it's even when you're having fun, it's a stressful fun. Like it's like demands so much of your attention. And it can happen so fast. You're off Instagram now too? Oh, okay. That's why I haven't seen you on Instagram. Someone else was saying that they were leaving Instagram, and it made me like sad. I think they're still on though right now. But I was just like, don't leave Instagram. Who gets into, I like Instagram. Maybe because my Instagram is very curated. I don't like the ads on Instagram. It's like obnoxious. But I really do enjoy my Instagram. I love Instagram. I like my little audience there. I like my little bullshit over there. It's actually grown to be about my YouTube audience now. So it's I like my little audiences and my little circles there. It's nice. Kind of like when I first joined TikTok. Very, very nice. When all I had was like traditional Satanists, a few demonolators, like those are the only people up in my shit. And it was nice. Oh, the scrolling, yeah. The thing is, I don't follow enough people to be like scrolling for that long. I don't like because that it's like done with all the posts now. It's just like stupid ads and stuff that you'll hate, and because I don't know, I just don't I'm way more in danger of like wasting time on YouTube. I love YouTube. And I can never watch enough content on YouTube. There's always like I'm always like sifting, trying to find more content. And the problem with the algorithm on YouTube now is you can't just like search good content anymore. It finds you. And when the algorithm finds you, my watch later playlist is like probably full of a lot of y'all's videos, honestly, and like a shit ton of other videos, a shit ton of like how-tos on things, and a shit ton of fucking video essays and sometimes documentaries. Like I love YouTube. YouTube has been my favorite social media platform for a long time. You should do it off camera. I don't know. All right. Occult question and answer. Or whatever. Question and answer. I don't give a shit. There's some things I've avoided talking about, so I guess now I'm in the mood if people want to ask me things. I can't promise I won't be a smartass though. Because I'll definitely be a smartass about certain things. I've learned a lot from YouTube too. My favorite strain of the green magic, I mean like specific strain. Like I mean I'm an indica girly. Like I like indica heavy hybrids. Sativa like can stress me the fuck out. So I don't have like right now I am smoking what's called midnight cookies. It's pretty decent. It's not my favorite, but I haven't been tracking my my flower that much. At what age did I become involved in the occult? Well, it was like different stages, different points. It wasn't like I just dove in the like I feel like today people really just dive in. But back when I was a kid, uh you didn't talk about that. Except with like people you felt weren't gonna hurt you over it. Um so I I got into tarot about, or I was always interested in these things since I was very little. And you could argue that I was a witch very, like a lot younger. Because a lot of the things I did, I look back and I'm like, I was doing witchcraft. But I count where I began around 12, where I started reading. I bought my first tarot cards in England. I still have them, and I read for the public with them. It's not special that I just happen to be in England because my family's there. You know, but I felt safe because I was away from my mother. That's why I shared that detail. Sorry. My mother was with my father. And so I was across the pond and I was like, you know what? I'm getting fucking tarot cards. I feel safer in England to do that than in the States right now where I live. And so like for the few weeks I was in England, if I wasn't going out with my family somewhere, I was practicing reading tarot cards and I was starting to get kind of good at it, even though I needed the book. You know, and around 13, well, around 12 is when I was exposed to the concept of witches being like real. I dismissed it though because the book, and I'm glad I did because the book I picked up was shit. But it exposed me to the concept of witches being real. And so, like, and by that I mean like witchcraft being a practice, witchcraft being a legitimate approach to spirituality and to life and to science, as opposed to this fictionalized fantasy creature that people call a witch in a lot of like fantasy stories and shit like that. It's just not what witches are. Witches are people. So, you know, my first exposure to that and to real magic as opposed to fictional magic was interesting. It wasn't until I was about 13, 14 that I really made the decision to dedicate myself to Wicca. And like from there, I just started learning more and more, and my practice sort of grew into something else. And I acknowledged that. I realized that I had grown so much. It wasn't that I decided not to be Wiccan. I was just sort of like, oh, what I'm doing is witchcraft, and what I'm doing is somewhat pagan, but like it's not Wicca anymore. And to call it Wicca just feels sort of like disrespectful to the religion. So I just chose not to, or it just felt inaccurate. So yeah, I got deeper around. I feel like around 21 is when Lilith and I went really deep, and a few years before that she became more prevalent, but we went really deep around when I was like about 21. Um, Before that, I was working with like Nyx, Hecate. Lilith had shown herself to me when I was about 18. Um, but she became like the main focus of my practice when I was around 21, 22. Around when I was like living by myself. Okay, let me catch up to what y'all were talking about. Fergus. I don't. Okay. I was poking around that one. I was poking around that one. We worked on something briefly. I don't really talk too much anymore about the demons that I have very brief works with. I don't know, like brief workings. I don't know. I'm a little stoned, but it's just like I tend to talk more these days. I tend to talk more about demons that I am working on a specific project on for a certain period of time, or ones that I am like devoted to, and projects that we're doing. Sometimes it's in a pact. I think I really only have one active pact, but um, Satan has let me know that we should make a specific pact. And in a way, I have a pact with Satan as a devotee, but it's not like specific about something I want in return. It's just literally like to guarantee that I'm never, ever gonna not be with him. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you were also 13 or 15 when you started. What did you start with, like on your path? Because I feel like a lot of us may have come over from Wicca, um, or just some form of paganism, something like that. But I feel like today, for people getting into the occult, like they have so many more options up front. Like I feel either that or I'm just fully entrenched in shit, and I'm like fully entrenched, and now I just don't see the world without it. I guess like every once in a while, I encounter some people that just have no connection to alternative spirituality. You know, they just have they have no connection to magical practices at all, and so they're a bit shocked when I'm. Yeah, you also started with Wicca. They're a bit shocked when I mention anything or point it out. Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of us started as Wiccan because it was the only thing accessible to us, right? Like, I think that part of it is like our age, whereas like people now, and you don't have to be young to get into this stuff. I feel like there's also this assumption that new people to this are always young, and that's not true. I've met a lot since I've been um, local people or people who've traveled that are older who are brand new to this stuff, which is super interesting, you know, to see, uh, because I think at the time I was getting into it, it was like most people who knew anything about it were people who were sort of born into it. You know, everyone else who wasn't born into it and wasn't initiated by someone born into it, like had a hard time um, having access to certain information. And so I think that's why a lot of us ended up on the left hand path, because we had to um, know how to carve our own way when there was nothing else to go. When the mysteries were kept from us, when we were barred access to the mysteries, then we had to find our own mysteries. We had to go out into that abyss, you know, into the night, and often practicing in secret and discover things within ourselves that that we might have missed actually had we just jumped into a tradition. I think there was a time in my practice when I really wanted to join a coven, and I think what I really was craving was a support network of people who just understood me, people who understood where I was coming from and knew that um, I wasn't like a degenerate because of it or whatever. Like I just wanted people to treat me like a normal person and be aware that I was a witch. That's like really all I wanted. And so now that I am around a lot more witches, it can be disappointing when there's ignorance like about who you are, right? There's like when you're very honest and open about who you are, it's like very disappointing. And it can be disappointing even when it's not happening directly to you, when you see it happen to someone else. It like personally it upsets me because of how hard I've worked to be where I am as a witch and to be in the spaces that I'm in and occupy them and teach and help other people. Um, to see other people take that for granted and be, I don't know, judgmental or gatekeeping in a way towards people who are just trying to learn and have worked very hard to even reach the space where they can ask. And I'm not talking about the internet so much because I feel like people on the internet are dabbly as fuck. Personally, I there's some people who are very genuine, but there's a lot of people that just simply ask, like, act helpless so that you do all the labor for them, and it's super annoying. And then when you refuse to do labor for them for free, like, you get accused of just doing this shit for the money when you put out a lot of free content. Whatever, right? So but seeing people in person, like, who are dealing with spiritual awakenings that are disturbing them and their family, that when previously they had no spiritual practice. I'm thinking of a few different people I've encountered now who have no spiritual practice and no understanding of psychic ability, just all of a sudden have everything hit them and have a lot of spiritual activity come at them and not knowing what to do and turning to witches for help. That, this is, yes, it's like yes, a lot of people are making tall tales. Yes, a lot of people have created their own problems. But when you give people the tools to handle something themselves, because this is something that I also really hate when people like want me to do, like, I'm happy to do spells for some people if they pay me, right? I'm happy to do some services for people. Um, but if you're expecting me to solve all of your problems with my magic, that's exhausting, and I don't think you could pay me enough to do that. So like I don't think there's any amount of money that could make me want to really take that on. So what I like to do is to give people their own tools to handle it themselves, and so I don't see any need to like gatekeep that much information from people or to judge people for not knowing what to do. Be happy that they came to you for some good advice instead of going somewhere else for some bad advice, right? You should be gracious enough to be like, okay, great. Like, you are asking me. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that the chat was not keeping up with questions. So I apologize. I thought no one was talking. So I just monologued like I said I would. Yeah, by now most people have heard of Wicca. You went from 0 to 100. Deep dive into theistic. Nice. Hell yeah, you just jumped right on it. That's great. The 90s, you're lucky if I. Yeah, exactly. Like, even the early 2000s for me, it was where I lived. Maybe in the cities it would have been easier because, like, once I would visit a city, it would be like easier for me to find books about paganism and Wicca. But where I lived, there was just the the one book about witches had like threats written in it. It wasn't about like even modern day witches. It was literally about like just mythology about witches, and the witches' Sabbath, and literally like there were things underlined as if someone was trying to look for witches, and like things written in this. It was a library book that I checked out, or I wanted to check out, and then I saw like the threats written in it, and I just didn't want to touch it anymore. Like that was the town that I lived in, and I worked at that library, and I was just like, wow, I wonder if I like walked by somebody who is like trying to make me fear for my safety, or like directly or indirectly towards not like me personally, but like witches, make us feel unsafe, or um, try to do things to us to make us unsafe, right? I don't know if I necessarily like community to me is a good point. Like I was seeking that at that time. I think I was seeking family. If I'm really gonna roast myself, if I'm really gonna be honest, like I think I was seeking family, and that was not really healthy. Um, I'm grateful that I did not put myself in that position. I think goth culture really helped me with my needs for community and my needs for family um, for a long time. A lot of the opportunities I had and a lot of the support I had was through the goth community. I think a lot of that is no longer with us, and I was very fortunate to find my way to a supportive community that at the time was supportive toward me. Looking back now as an older, like, I was a very young woman at the time, and I look back now as someone who's almost 30, and I'm just like, a lot of those people were just nice to me because they wanted to fuck me. Like I look back and I'm like, oh, some of them cared about me, and some of them really just wanted something from me. So, but I was safe. None of these people hurt me really. I just, some people try, but other people helped me stand up for myself or protect myself. I learned a lot through that community. The problem with community is it's not a family. That's the thing people forget. A community is not a family. And there are toxic members of community. There are violent members of community. There are, you know, there are people that you should keep your distance from in your community, probably, right? For your safety. Um, doesn't make them not part of your community. You don't get to choose everybody who's in your community. So that's the reality. That's what's going on. Um, but yeah, like I think an individual path. Every community has bad apples. Every community is reflecting the greater society in some way, and the greater society needs a lot of change, right? So needs a lot of change and a lot more functional communication that it doesn't have right now. So, and I've learned a lot that when dealing with people who are right hand path thinking, which the majority of the world and even the majority of the Western world think like, um, it can be difficult to have certain ideas understood and certain amount of empathy given to you, because you'll notice that if you're a minority in a lot of situations of any kind, but especially if you're a kind of minority that isn't really recognized as a box you can check on a census, then people really use it like against you. Like they just use it against you whenever they want. And a lot of them aren't even thinking about it because you don't matter to them. So they're just like, you know, we're never going to listen to you, or we're not really going to make a space for you, or we're not like, you're going to be excluded inevitably if you're expecting community to like accept you all the time. It's not going to. And this is an adversarial path. You're going to feel like you have to come up against people sometimes. That doesn't have to be like a bad or negative experience. Certainly shouldn't like result in any sort of violence or some of us are meant to disrupt. Leibach. But yeah, I don't really consider the occult world to be a community, and it would be weird to call the left-hand path that as well. Personally, my opinion, there is somewhat of a community. I certainly don't talk to everybody. Where's my water? Okay. I guess like I was going to have like a glyphosate. Um, I've been making a lot of oils lately. So I have this one right here that this is a candle. This one right here that what the fuck is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay. This one, Venus. It was Venus, just the moon cycle with that one. All right, let me catch up to your question. Until I heard this art shit that's out of. I was fairly young. I think I was around like stuff. You realize that I was in Gamaliel when that happened. Is my connection okay? What is going on? I'm so confused. Okay, did everybody just leave? I am confused. In the middle of me answering a question, I just don't think that happened. Okay, well, if everybody's gone, what is going on? That was strange and sudden, so I worried about my connection, but still here. Okay, somebody is. The the fuck I was saying? Yeah, it was just freezing. Okay, must have been my stupid ass connection. I don't know what the fuck is going on today. I'm blaming the eclipse. Sorry. Yeah, thank you, y'all. Thanks for telling me what's going on. I'm sorry for that. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ever since they raised the price on my internet, it's been shit. GG. Hey, girlie. Oh my gosh. You know what? We have to, if it's gonna be like this, I need more marijuana, okay? YouTube, fuck you. Not y'all on YouTube, the app right now. Or my internet, probably my internet. Xfinity, get it together. Get it together. Comcast. That's right, I dead named Xfinity. You're Comcast to me, bitch. You can't get this connection together. Sorry for that, y'all. I hope it's not lagging so much. Okay, I see more of y'all back. Good. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Before it wouldn't let me see y'all. Now it won't let. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I maybe Lilith doesn't want me talking about that. So yes, I met Lilith. My devotion to her was based in Gnosis. My exposure to her was based in like music and then reading, but my actual like connection to her was based in Gnosis. Let's blame it on the eclipse. Eclipse fault. Yes. That's right, sorceress. It's the eclipse fault. I don't like how astrology has become like a thought terminating cliche for a lot of people where they're like, oh my god, she's the kind of person to blame it on Mercury Retrograde. And it's like, yes, hail Lilith, of course. Mercury retrograde happens frequently. It's just when people it's like a bump in the road in like communication or when things go on. Like it's just normal. Like Mercury retrograde is normal. You know, it is a little bit difficult, but most likely other planets are like square or opposition or occasionally other planets go retrograde. Like I feel like having more astrological competency has been cool to like see people actually have. I think the judgment towards people who have it is like, I think, and whatever gay is like. So homophobic and lame. Okay. Send me more questions, please. That's why I'm here. Doesn't retrograde mean its influence goes inward instead of outward? All retrograde really means is that that our orbit is in such an alignment where the planet appears to be going backward in the sky. Because like our orbits are different sizes because we're further away from the sun than Mercury. And so Mercury will like appear to be going backwards because we're just further away from the sun. That's it. And it happens quite frequently because like Mercury will complete an orbit before we do. So I mean, it's not blasphemous not to be into astrology. It's something that only like think of like the witches in Europe in the woods. Like they're not going to be able to study the stars as effectively as like someone in the desert. So, astrology, not everyone's going to know astrology. That's okay. That's why we have astrologers. Where I got my earrings? At Spencer's Gifts. So classy. About this necklace. This is two necklaces combined. Everyone asks me about this necklace. I got this part, the collar part on Etsy, and I got the pendant locally. It's by the brand called Sigil of Baphomet, even though it is a Lucifer sigil. It is called the brand is called Sigil of Baphomet. Mm-hmm. Have I ever worked with a Zazel? Yes. I did sort of make a video about it a little while ago. In my gnosis that I share, it seems like only two other people shared, two other people that made content about it shared my perspective on a few things, and they made videos before me. Sometimes it was like Temple 23, or it was Hellspine. Hellspine was his name. So if anyone knows where his content is now, like tell me, because I missed that kid's content. It's good shit. I say kid, he's like 1 year younger than me. Good shit, Really good, like really disciplined. I was inspired by that person's discipline. Do you have to do additional things if you do spell work during Mercury Retro? I mean, don't work directly with Mercury. Go slow, be very just like you do anything during Mercury retrograde, don't freak out about it, and like get your shit together. Yes, Hellspire is awesome. Why can't I find his channel anymore, y'all? Yeah, you were talking. Yeah, oh my god, you just mentioned Logan Hellspire. Yeah, I was fucking talking about him. Okay. Sigil of Baphomet that I placed upon my new book. It's not a Sigil of Baphomet. It is just it's a goat head with a inverted pentagram, and I got it also at the same place that I got this pendant in town. Have I worked with doors to other dimensions? Well, okay. You were typing it as that's so weird. Maybe we all need to check on what he's up to. Maybe it's a sign. He's up to something cool. Probably is. Of what can you share? Of course, doors to other dimensions. So, okay, as a chaos magician, my answer is going to be a little bit annoying, okay? But my answer is going to be a little bit fucking annoying. My perspective is like that all these altered states of consciousness are the other dimensions. I don't think of it like the way movies portray other dimensions, or how some people on TikTok think fairy doors work. I don't really see it that way. Many layers to it that are already present and are already all around us. If you want to use like matrix terminology for some reason, it's all encoded there. Just some of us have access to see other things other people don't, which is why it's always good to expose yourself to people with different perspectives, because they may be saying something you don't see, you know? But that being said, yes, I have like used my black mirrors to sort of be not so much doors, but maybe windows into other dimensions. I've done that. But even then, I'm mostly seeing things within my mind's eye as opposed to physically. Um, Although there's been a few times when I've physically seen through the black mirror. It's different. Nice, thank you. Am I writing my own book? I'm always writing something. Um, yes, I have written a book. The problem is I want it to be a hard copy, and Amazon requires a certain amount of pages. So that means that I have to like include some other things besides the core material that I channeled. Which fine, I can do that. But I also want to include illustrations. I'm picky about that. And I want to self-publish, which means that I have to format things myself or get help. That's what I'm most nervous about, is the formatting. If it's not formatted well, I'm going to be very, very upset. I'm going to be very, very upset. Editing, you know, I can have that happen. I can hire somebody to do that. I can, you know, it'll be okay. I'm okay with a few mistakes. It is a self-published work after all. That happens. People have read worse written books, I promise. Yes, it's a state of mind and perception. Absolutely. Yeah. Tripping on LSD, meeting Leviathan. His perspective on Leviathan was very fascinating to me. It was just very cool. And the spirits that these specific, what was it? Was it 23? I think it was like 23 like specific spirits um that were sort of becoming his system. And he had this whole thing, like it was so brilliant. It was great. Oh my god. He lost me in one video once because he like simped for EA Koenig for like a hot second. And I was like, you're better than that. You have no idea. Like you have no idea that you're like actually way cooler than that guy. Come on. Sorry. That's my opinion. Okay. If you're someone who's like so unique and like can just create that kind of shit from within, not a lot of people have a black flame like that no more. Like just it's such a gift. But you know, I hope. And the last person I've seen besides Hellspine that was really a lot like that. A few last people I've seen like that have just sort of like disappeared off social media, and I don't really know why. Sometimes I disappear, but I come back. So I do like I worry. You know, I'm like I hope things are good, but at the same time, I know some people are just simply happier not being perceived, and a lot of the time when you have a lot of creativity within you, a lot of depth within you, like it can be hard to it can be hard to deal with people. It can be hard to deal with comments, and I you know I get it. For me, it's the feeling like people expect stuff from me. And then I just kind of a very avoidant sometimes. But yeah, one of these days I have to I should talk about my like cannabis egregore or whatever. I should talk more about that because I've had such a fun time with like I guess this is weird. This is like I don't know how to say this. I like make egregores um through like music. I don't know. Or they're like already existing through the music and I just sort of tune into them. I don't know. I'm a little stoned to like explain it, but I have a lot of fun with it. Um and there's some I really truly feel like Satan is someone who likes to play around with media. Um I mean, we know this. We know that he is the god of music, and we know that he makes the best art. He inspires the best artists in the world. Like the good shit is not, it's not holy, okay? The good shit is fun and creative and emotional and sensual and passionate, right? That's sad he deleted his channel. I wonder why people like do that. I didn't even delete my TikTok. I was like, I might come back to this. Like, even if I don't come back to it, I just want it up. Like, why not? Let people, I made those videos, let people watch them. I don't fucking care. Why not? I think it's like, I was like, I'm not gonna give some people the satisfaction of like deleting any of my shit. Like, if it gets banned, it gets banned when I'm not there. It's possible. But like, I'm not deleting my shit. What for? Satan is perfect in his imperfections and his perfections. It's like paradoxical to me. That's how I perceive it anyway. But yes, he is perfect. He is perfect and he's perfectly imperfect and he's my man. He's my God. He's my friend. On my perspective on, like, I nothing else would ever make me so zealous as Satan. Perhaps Lilith at one time did. But Satan makes me zealous in such a way that, like, I don't know, I never like thought I could be. I get real religious sometimes. I'm like, no, I'm putting on my Baphomet veil. I'm anointing myself with the oils. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna listen to, I'm gonna listen to the Lord's Prayer backwards. I'm gonna sit here and pray with, like, I pray like, this is my favorite prayer hands. The horns, my favorite. I pray like sometimes I'm very casual. Like right now, I'm very casual. There's other times like so fucking religious, and I feel like it's like to some degree like some influence of my ancestors or whatever, but it's coming out in a satanic way. It's not coming out in like a Catholic way. And but my Satanism is based in like paganism. It's not based in Catholicism. It's not based in like anything Abrahamic for me. So I'm and then I'm consuming anti-cosmic Satanism, which is very like inverted Jewish mysticism, and I'm sort of digesting that, and I'm kind of like, it's there's a lot going on. But yeah, Satan makes me very like religious sometimes. Okay, very fun question. Let's see. Do I ever look at my magical path as a witch and be like, wow, this is really cool. I love this path so much. I mean, yes. I definitely, okay, so like I definitely feel that way when I see results of something I really wanted, or a long-term project comes to fruition and I really think about it. I'm like, I would not be living this life without being a witch, without being who I am. Like, I don't think I ever would have met Satan in this lifetime properly had I not been a witch. Like, I just feel like being a witch is part of who I am and part of who I needed to be to be with Satan. For me personally, maybe not everybody. I don't think everybody has to. I personally don't think everyone has to practice magic to devote to Satan. I think you can just be, religiously devoted to him, and that's fine. Um, so yeah, I am grateful for that, and I do. Um, I think being a witch has changed me for the better as a person. I think it's made me more accountable for myself, stronger, more capable. I have learned a lot more about other cultures through my interest in witchcraft and the occult in ways that I probably wouldn't have exposed myself to that early on. It led me to study sociology, anthropology, psychology. It got me more interested in science. My perspective through paganism as well as the occult and magic like got me more interested in like 420 is also Earth Day. I think a lot of people forget. I'm pretty sure. No, Earth Day is the 22nd, right? Yeah, Earth Day's tomorrow. Never mind. Or today. Whatever. It's tomorrow. I think. Earth Day's near 420. But anyway, I was thinking, I remember when I learned about tectonic plates, and as a pagan, I was like, wow, it's so beautiful that the tectonic plates like move around. Like the earth is alive, maybe not an organism, but it is to me alive. It changes, it grows, it creates new, like our skin cells that die and flake off, like it, and then we generate new ones. It just, our planet is alive, and I just found that so beautiful that like science can just show us that. And if we have compassion for what we're seeing through the science, like that's what we can see. It's not that there's, the problem is outsiders like mystify shit so much and mythologize it so much. It sounds like a weird, because that's what they do with the Bible. Like no one, I'm sorry, most people don't genuinely believe the Bible, right? Like most people like know it's horseshit, but they are scared that it could be right. So they go along with this shit for like forever. And it's just like, that's not what I mean when I'm talking about the earth being alive. I don't think like the earth has like the same thoughts as a human brain. Like it's alive. It's moving. I'm sorry. Yes, I do think of the world differently because of witchcraft, and I'm very grateful. I'm going on a whole tangent. Okay. Writings of William Blake force you look see completely out of Abrahamic context. Is there a title by William Blake that you would recommend above the others or first? Because I'm curious. It's very important. It's bigger than what we can actually experience. So I totally agree with what you said. Devotion to an entity. Yeah, you know, like yeah, when I pray to Satan, it's not always just me sitting there like asking for shit. It's just mostly like I just want to be in his presence. I want to tell him what's going on with me, even though he already knows, right? Like he already knows what's going on with me. But it feels good to tell him. It feels good to communicate. It feels good to be held in his presence, in his um figuratively in his arms, right? Just being there, having that support, having that connection to him, and also a deep part of yourself that a lot of people just like would never see within you that he sees within you. To feel the love, yes. It's like it's love, but it's also like it's love to such a degree that it just sort of halts you where you are. You have that's all you can do is just be with Satan for a while. I was when I first came home to Satan, I was absolutely obsessed. Like I was absolutely obsessed. I think now, um, I always think of Satan, but it feels less like an obsession, more like it's a devotion. It's something that I should, you know, actively make time for as my life gets busy. He's inherently a part of me. He's always with me, but you know, I have to do my part, right? But I was super obsessed with it. And of course I'm still obsessed with him. Maybe I'm just used to being obsessed with him now. But I was so fucking obsessed. I would just think of Satan like every hour, every day, no matter what was going on. I think it's awesome to find someone that understands. Yeah, it can feel good. It's good to be validated. Um, but everybody has their own experience, and sometimes it's good to validate each other. But I remember a lot of people would come to me. There's like a few people I could think of that like came to me and they're like, "Hey, um, I think I feel called to Satan, but I don't know how to do this right, and I'm coming to you for advice, or I want to know, do you think like I'd be right for this or whatever?" And I would know based on what they said to me, um, that they had met him, right? And I could tell that they were already starting to sense him, and I would just kind of be coy and not answer for them because um, it's not my experience to have, right? It's not my experience to dictate for them. The whole thing Satan did for me was wait for me to. Um, why is chat being blocked? I don't have nobody being mods in here, so it could be an auto thing where you just have to wait for a second. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying, to be honest. It's okay. Just catch up to what you're saying. When I think of the concept of the witch's devil, do I think Satan is a part of that? I definitely do, and feel that Satan has many names and faces. So yeah, I agree that he has many, many names and faces. I actually met Satan because I was reaching out to the witch's devil, and I met the witch's. I've encountered the witch's devil, the folkloric devil, often, and it's my favorite image of Satan. Um, but when he came to me, he reminded me of the fact that I call Lilith Lilith and not Lilitu or Lilaki or Kilili or Lamashtu. I call her Lilith for a reason because I'm acknowledging her demonically, right? So when he came to me and he made it very clear that I am to call him Satan. Um, that gave me a revelation. I mean, I made a video about it. It just, um, I did not believe in Satan prior to that experience. So, um, to become aware of his presence uh, was new. But yes, I spoke also about the witch's devil on Patreon. Um, and you might have read it, Abby, but it was about me going into the wilderness and having a few physical manifestations there. I mean, yes, Hashaitan is manyfold. One of the songs that he would send to me and communicate with me was a song called Diamond, and it would just make me think of all his different facets. And I have learned and seen him through many guises, and I am about to get to know a few different faces of him more intimately as my path goes on. I knew about this. This is going to be my post-Clifothic work, and I knew in the Clifoth, I knew about Around the Abyss, of several things I would have to do post-Thaumiel. So I'm excited, but there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to do in the physical world, and yeah, um, I just want to be clear also with like saying that Satan has many faces. Um, I don't get into the whole like conceptualizing the demonic Lucifer as separate from Satan. There are many Lucifers that are not Satan, but I get irritated when people ask me this question, so please don't ever ask me this question. I think it's sort of if you think Satan is truly separate from anything other than the demiurge, um, you may not be aware of who Satan really is. That's just what I'm going to say about that. You may have a very limited view of Satan compared to others who have experienced him, right? Um, that's just all I'm gonna say. I don't really. I'm a panentheist. I don't really mesh with the very hard polytheism that is coming out of TikTok lately. It's not even like normal hard polytheism to me. It's very weird the way it manifests and the very human centric way it is expressed. It seems that um, it seems that people think that human beings dictate the shapes and forms and names of gods instead of understanding that all the masks they wear are masks we've painted and given them, right? Not to be culturally insensitive, I think also, though I see all of the demonic as legion, I see this adversarial I answered this sort of somewhat on Instagram, but this adversarial force to be lesion, um, I do address the individual facets and faces as their own separate entities because that is the dignity they deserve under this lesion. So that is the distinction I make. I am not here to like argue over what is and is not separate, what is the same. That is going to be perceived differently from every magician. It's very dumb. Book of Horizon. Okay. Is the universe, but I feel like he very much is the blood running through it. And thus he influences a lot of it. Um, but in a there's like an aspect of Mother Earth I feel is very close to him. I don't know how else to I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, I'll check it out. That book. It is complicated to put into words, and literally, like, I was reading Transcendental Satanism, and part of that book he talks about, Matt Zane talks about the fact that when you try to describe spiritual experiences, words will fail you. Like, that's why so many spiritual people turn to art or music to express themselves because or poetry because it just trying to describe it in logical language just fails you every time. Um, you can kind of obfuscate it in overly dramatic uh, science-y speak sometimes, as chaos magicians have shown. But it, sort of this mystery about magic. It's hard for us humans to comprehend or to explain exactly. Sorry, the phone keeps moving. It's because I like will scroll through the chat because I guess the chat is not automatically loading. Um, so occasionally I jiggle the phone. I just have to show off illustration. I just it's so fun. It's so pretty. It's the prettiest book I've bought in a while. I think I showed some of these on. Paying for is for. We budget over here, bitch. So. Oh, I forgot to mention. I will make a proper video about it. I think I filmed some footage for it. But I do have a new service. And if you've seen it on Instagram, you know what it is. So I have and I'll make a proper like site thing for it or whatever soon. But right now it's through messages. You can message me for it. I have a new service. It is a 7-day dressed candle to a demon with a petition. Basically, I offer this through a pretty short list of demons. It's just the demons that I have devotion with. This is not the same thing as spell work, but it's still fairly effective. It's $25 US, just because it's a very simple service, and I don't feel like I need to charge that much for it right now. If it's in really high demand, I might I might just charge a little more to slow down demand. That's sometimes what I do if I have like a really demand for something. Um, I raise the price just to slow down demand so I can relax a little bit. You can raise and lower prices as I see fit. But I want to keep it around $25 because it's a simple service, like I said. It covers the cost of materials, the cost of labor, and for 7 days, I let the candle burn consecutive 7 days. Sometimes they burn a little faster, sometimes a little slower because of the nature of the candle and the working. And I can't control how the candle burns, how fast the candle burns, but they're designed to burn for 7 days. Regardless, I do the petition for 7 days. So even if candle burns down earlier, I still read the petition. But I read it at least once for those every day for those 7 days. Um, I dress the candle, I dress the petition, I write the petition as powerfully as I can, appealing to the demon. It works mostly through my devotion, though if you are devoted to the same demon and you're buying the service, I expect it works even better. Um, it may take longer than 7 days to work. 7 days is how long I'm doing it for. This is a longevity petition. This is not like a quick spell. This is something that is using longevity and devotion to get the best results that are least disruptive. So they may take more time to take full effect. So again, it's not spell work. It's just a nice, affordable option for people who may not be able to afford spell work from me, but trust me for certain services and just may need help um, with some things. And so far, the feedback I've had from clients with it has been really good. Sometimes the results are not as dramatic as we want, but we've been sort of impatient. But so we've been a little bit impatient, so we've sort of been throwing a lot at it. But we've seen progress. Other folks, with more simpler requests, have seen very nice results. Not as dramatic as spell work, perhaps, but good results nonetheless. I do have to check on one person, see how they're doing. But yes, I've enjoyed doing it. It's a nice little service. It helps me connect with people sometimes, because I do read the candle as it goes down. I don't just like do this and not tell you what's going on. I do my best to inform you as it's happening, what I'm seeing in the candle, what is what kind of smoke is coming off of it, the wax making pictures, has the candle been making audible sounds. So I just sort of read the candle as it goes. I read it when it's done. I just let people know what I'm predicting from it. So it's a little bit of an insight into how I read candles. I don't pull cards on it, none of that. Those are things we do for spell work, right? We book a consultation for that, and then we do all that effort. Spell work's a lot more, rituals are a lot more, but this is supposed to be simple and accessible, and so it's not just for Satanists. It's open to anybody. I just expect that those who work with demons and those who are devoted may see stronger results or faster results or just better results. Just because you would align with that current, and if you have your own devotion to them, of course, they're going to be more enthusiastic to help you. But again, it works through mainly my devotion. It's fairly simple. Have I blabbed about it enough? Fried my brain enough with special cannabis? Oh, it's great to see you, Abby. Bye. Thank you, Sorceress. Hope to see you again. I had a nice time with y'all. I probably should go soon too. But it was good to see y'all here. I am sorry about the yes, you can DM me on Instagram. Absolutely. That's probably the best place to reach me. You can try my other social media, or my email, but Instagram's probably the best place to reach me. Yes. But it was nice to see y'all. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know why my internet threw such a fit for so long, but it seems we got over it. Sometimes things need to happen the way they need to happen. I'll be back with more content. I have so few spoons sometimes. I really do. So that's mainly on me, but y'all know me. I'm not here for all the content stuff. I'm here to connect with y'all when it feels organic, when it makes sense to me, when it is interesting for y'all. So I'm happy to see you guys. I need to catch up on a lot of your content, so I'm sorry if I'm not up to date with what you guys are doing. I kind of see some people's posts or what they have on Instagram and whatever, but so I always try to like it and support. So I hope y'all are doing great. I think I will check out now if there's no final questions or anything. I'll give you a second. I'm gonna take one final hit. Take one final hit. Hell yeah. Hell Satan. Because we're about an hour and a half in. Damn, that's a hard question. Who's my favorite Batman villain? That's so hard. The villains are the best thing about Batman. Everyone knows this. And that because they have the okay. Well, it's not the Penguin. And it's not the Riddler. I like the Penguin. The Riddler's like, It's not Two-Face, I don't think. Okay. It's not the Joker. I do enjoy certain, like, emanations of the Joker. Others are annoying. Yeah, I don't think it's the Joker. It's probably not Harley Quinn. No, it's not Harley Quinn. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm taking very long. I think like Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman and Eartha Kitt Catwoman are pretty high the fuck up there. Um Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy is pretty high up there. Poison Ivy in like the new fucking Harley Quinn thing is pretty up there. I actually like that Harley Quinn the best. I think I like that cartoon Harley Quinn the best. Not the old cartoon one. She was annoying as shit. Mr. Freeze is cool in that cartoon as well. Not so much in like Batman Returns or whatever the fuck it is. So I think it's Catwoman. Yeah, I think it's still Catwoman. And I was like, okay, it was definitely Catwoman. Anyway. Specifically, Michelle Pfeiffer and Eartha Kitt. Specifically those and the new Harley Quinn show cartoon Catwoman is kind of like a combination of Michelle Pfeiffer and the Eartha Kitt depiction and a few others, I think, and the Halle Berry one. But yeah. Anyway, I'm leaving. Thanks for being here. I will be back soon. Oh yes, before I forget to mention it, yeah, if you're DMing me for spell work, know that I require a reading consultation first, and I have raised my prices on readings. The spell work should be mostly covering the cost of materials and my time. That's mainly what I gauge it on, and a little bit of my effort and maybe offerings to the spirit. That's how I sort of calculate it. So it varies, and I do spell work that to your situation. Nobody has gotten past my vetting process yet. I'm gonna be honest. Nobody like from that doesn't know me in person anyway has not gotten past my vetting process yet. Unless I just did something for somebody for free because they were my friend. You know, I don't just go out and doing that. Please don't ask me for that. It's just like I've done things for people when they were in really, really. Please don't ask me for that. Okay. There are times when I am able to do that, and there are times when I'm not. So, please respect that. Yeah. So I don't do it anymore. I learned my lesson. But yes, the devotional candles are they're right now they're a flat rate, $25. $25 each, per candle per petition. So, one candle petition is $25. I'm stoned now, so I have to go. It was nice seeing y'all. If you have closing thoughts and I end the stream before, just leave it in the comments. I'll read it later. So I don't feel like you can't, say whatever you want to say. Say it in the comments, and I'll read it later. All right. It was nice talking to you. It was good to see you guys, even if I was just seeing your avatars. But it's good to be here and just be my stupid gay ass self. Thank you. So I'll see y'all next time. Bye now. Ave Satanis.